Before Satan became the enemy we all know, he was Lucifer, the most beautiful, powerful, and glorious angel in all of creation. He had a throne, authority, and even the admiration of angels. But pride, rebellion, and envy turned him into the ultimate enemy of God and man. What if I told you that the Bible hides shocking truths about his throne truths that will change how you see spiritual authority forever? Welcome back to the Bible series online. Today, we're rediving deep into a topic very few dare to discuss: the throne of Satan before his fall. This is not just history. It's a warning, a revelation, and a spiritual lesson for every believer. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will make you rethink the spiritual battles happening all around us today. So, who was Satan really? Before the fall, his name was Lucifer, which means light bearer. He wasn't just beautiful. The Bible describes him as wise and perfect in all his ways. Ezekiel chapter 28, verses 12-15 paints a picture of a being of extraordinary magnificence. He was created as a covering cherub, which is the highest rank among angels, entrusted with incredible authority and responsibility. Try to imagine a being so majestic that he literally reflected the glory of God. This was Lucifer. His very presence was a testament to God's creative power. But with great power comes great temptation. And this is a crucial point for all of us. Even the most perfect creation can fall when pride enters the heart. Many believers today tend to underestimate the subtle, corrosive power of pride. We see it as a minor flaw, but the story of Lucifer shows us its true danger. Just as Lucifer fell from the highest position in heaven, unchecked pride in our own lives can lead to devastating spiritual consequences. It's a silent poison that can disconnect us from God, just as it did for him. It starts small, a little thought of self-elevation, a desire for more recognition, and before we know it, we're on a dangerous path. Lucifer's story is the ultimate cautionary tale. He had everything, yet he wanted more. He wanted to be God. His perfection was corrupted from within, not by an outside force, but by the pride that grew in his own heart. This is why the Bible continuously warns us to guard our hearts. Because what happened to the greatest of angels can happen to any of us if we let pride take root. Now, let's talk about the throne of Satan. This isn't just a metaphor. The Bible speaks of it directly. In Revelation chapter 2, verse 13, Jesus himself says that in the city of Pergamum, Satan has his throne. This was more than just a physical seat of power. It represented a spiritual authority, a dominion over principalities and powers in the unseen realm. Think of it as a spiritual kingdom, with legions of angels under his influence and a world subtly guided by his rebellion. Before his fall, Lucifer was revered, admired, and even envied by other angels. His glory was second only to God's. But this very glory became the seed of his own destruction. Imagine walking into a realm filled with unimaginable light, beauty, and power, a place where music and splendor filled the air, and then realizing that all of this splendor, all this authority, could be completely destroyed by a single, prideful decision. That was Lucifer's reality. His throne was a gift from God, a position of service and guardianship. He was meant to reflect God's glory, not to covet it for himself. But the honor he received twisted into a hunger for worship. He saw the worship that went to God and wanted it. His position of authority became a platform for his ambition. This is a profound lesson for us. Whenever God blesses us with influence, leadership, or success, it's a test. Will we use it to serve him and point others to him, or will we start to believe the glory is our own? Lucifer's throne shows us that spiritual authority is a sacred trust, and misusing it has catastrophic consequences. This brings us to the fall of Satan. The moment that changed everything. Pride whispered in his heart, "I will be like the Most High." We see this declaration in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 13-14. He said in his heart, "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly. I will make myself like the Most High." It was one decision, one rebellious thought that he nurtured into a full-blown mutiny. And this led to a catastrophic fall, not just for him, but for a third of the angels who chose to follow him in his rebellion. His throne, once radiant and glorious, became a symbol of cursed power, deception, and darkness. The spiritual warfare that we experience today, the battle between God's kingdom and Satan's influence, stems directly from this moment. This is the origin story of our enemy. Many Christians, I think, underestimate the cunning of the enemy. We might picture him as a cartoonish figure, but that's a dangerous mistake. Understanding the fall of Lucifer is like uncovering the blueprint of spiritual deception that operates all around us. He knows how to twist truth, how to plant seeds of doubt, and how to appeal to our pride because he wrote the playbook on it. He used his intelligence, his beauty, and his power not for good, but to deceive. And he still uses the same tactics today. He tempts us with power, recognition, and self-sufficiency, the very things that led to his own downfall. Knowing his origin story equips us to recognize his schemes in our own lives and in the world around us. So, what are the lessons for us as believers? The story of Lucifer is packed with them. First and foremost, even the highest, most powerful being in heaven failed when pride took over. This teaches us that God's design was always obedience over glory, humility over dominion. True spiritual authority in our lives doesn't come from our power, our position, or our influence. It comes from our submission to God's will. When we try to build our own kingdom, we're following in Lucifer's footsteps. But when we humbly serve God's kingdom, we walk in true, God-given authority. Ask yourself this question: are there areas in your life where pride is slowly taking over? Maybe it's in your career, your ministry, your relationships, or even in your spiritual walk. Lucifer's story is not just ancient history. It's a living warning and a guide for every single believer today. It reminds us to constantly check our motives. Are we seeking our own glory or God's? Are we building our own throne or bowing before His? Humility isn't weakness. It's our greatest strength and our greatest protection against the very deception that brought down an archangel. Remember, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That's not just a nice saying. It's a spiritual law with eternal consequences. And this leads to one of the most shocking truths. Satan's throne still exists, not as a physical chair in a specific location, but as a spiritual system of authority that influences nations, governments, cultures, and even individual hearts. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, tells us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This is the kingdom that Satan established after his fall. But here is the most important truth of all. God's power is infinitely greater. As believers, we are not left defenseless. Through faith in Jesus Christ, through prayer, and through living a life of righteousness, we can claim victory over this influence. The Bible is clear. No matter how high the enemy rises, rebellion always leads to destruction. But humility and obedience to God lead to eternal life. Lucifer's throne represents a kingdom built on pride and rebellion. But our King sits on a throne of grace, and his kingdom will never end. If you were shocked by the hidden truths about Satan's throne, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more deep Bible revelations. And I want to hear from you in the comments below. Did you know that Lucifer once had a throne in heaven? Let's discuss this incredible revelation together. Thanks for watching.